Hey, what's up, everybody? Here to bring another review to some of the SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Chronos, the Chronicle Gamer, and let's get started. So here we have Kamen Rider Chronos from Kamen Rider X8, and it is an awfully accurate figure. There are some major gripes with it, but otherwise it's not something that I can't get too mad about design-wise. But it's something that I feel like it obviously shouldn't be the same mistake. But let's talk about that in the review. Anyway, as usual, we're going to start with the thing I like most, articulation. Starting with the head, going all the way down. So head-wise, he actually has a excellent range of motion, not hindered by his collar at all, and his head allows him the maximum amount of rotation and articulation, which is pretty dope, because especially because the X8 stuff, collar-wise, was having some issues. So it seems like they made his collar a bit wider to actually work around what's going on. Next up, we have the arms. They extend out just a little bit to allow maximum rotation in the arm. The shoulder joint is actually separated, so as you can see, it gives him a maximum range in the arm, allow him to do whatever he wants to do. He has bicep swivel that rotates pretty well. The arms are double jointed, so as you can see, he can rotate all the way up. And it seems like nothing on the shoulder pad is actually hindering the character whatsoever. So it's pretty dope. They even have a little bit of rotation as well. As far as the ab crunch goes, it actually just goes about this far forward, not pretty far at all. Go pretty far back, no, not at all. But it can rotate left and right. As you can see, it moves the belt a little. And one of my gripes is going to be the belt. It actually is a little too wide, but for considering for what he needs to do in his gimmick, it's pretty cool that they added in, so it had to be a little bit more space than I would like to. The skirt has almost zero articulation. It just can actually just spread out a little to the forward, and it's connected by a back ball joint right here at the lower part of the waist. Now, my thing is, I really wanted this to be on a better hinge joint, because otherwise it needs to be replaced with a cloth one, because it leaves way too much room to not do anything. Like articulation wise, it really hinders the character because he can't lift his legs up. But without these, they actually go up really far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these off real fast. And although he doesn't look bad, it actually ruins the waist area for this. But articulation wise, he actually loses a ton of articulation because the skirt actually gets in the way of a ton of stuff. As you can see here, he can go pretty far all over the place. There's thigh swivel as well, and it double jointed in the legs. There's ankle pivot and toe articulation as well. So as you can see, he can get a great deal of articulation if it wasn't for the skirt actually being hindered. Also, just in case you don't know, you can take the gas shot out of the bug visor too. I'll put that right back on. And you can take it off for when you want to do the gimmick of turning it into gun and chainsaw mode. Real quick, I'm going to pop these back on so you guys can see what's going on with the other stuff and accessory wise with him. Oop. Let me actually find the plate. Oop. Let me find a piece to pop that back on. The reason why I'm doing that so you guys can see what's going on. One of the gimmicks that comes with Chronicle Gamer, if you had saw X8, was that you can change to the game-winning version if you collect 2 Chronicle Gashots. Now, they actually give you the belt swapping parts, and to do that is actually really easy. It actually comes with 2 Chronicle Gamer Gashots as well, ones that work for the regular driver. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold it, I guess, at the crotch area and at the waist, and wiggle it up until it kind of just pops out. And I don't want to break it. I feel like I would have bad luck with that, but it didn't. As you can see, you can pull right up here and it works on. What you're going to do is you're going to gently just swap that on. You're going to swap here. And then you're going to push back down till it pops back in place. And voila, you can swap the version around. So this actually gives you the game-winning Chronicle version when you collect the 10 Rider Gashettes. I like this version a lot. It actually streams out a little bit more with the green going across. But it also works with the bug visor as well. It's a really nice thing. Otherwise, I mean, this figure doesn't come with much because he doesn't get the accessories unless you get the Game Deuce version. But as far as hands, he has open palms, as you can see here. And then he'll have hands for holding items because in this mode, he can actually summon all the other weapons. So what I did was I brought the other weapons out so you guys can see that he can hold them. So with his holding hands, if you guys can see, voila, he can hold the other weapons. So that's the Gashikon Sparrow. He can hold the Gashikon Sword because all the XA hands kind of just share the same thing, just a different mode. As you know, he can hold the Gashikon Breaker. The only thing he's going to have trouble holding is the Gashikon Magnum because he doesn't have a full trigger hand. If you want, you can slice across and add that on if you want. One thing he can also hold is the Gashikon Bug Visor that comes with Gem level 0. He can actually hold it with those hands, so you actually be good for when you want to do the swapping of that part. One quick thing I want to talk about is I got a custom prototype cape, or skirt I should say, from Harker Customs. And I was going to do a separate video, but I thought now would be the best time to actually talk about it here. So this is the prototype skirt that I've been taking pictures of in my photos. And it immediately made the figure 100 times better. It pretty much matches most of the green. It is a, I don't even know what the mix is, but it's a wonderful, wonderful mix. And I want to just throw this in there. Shameless plug for him because actually he's done a great job. As you can see, it totally fixes all the articulation problems with it. And it gives it a look and feel that matches that of the character. So hopefully he'll be doing more. And I'll put a link at the bottom. Well, I'll put a link in the caption so you guys can check him out. But I absolutely love this skirt. I'm waiting for the finalized version, but the prototype has worked wonders for me. So hopefully it'll do the same for you. But I want to do that. Definitely want to plug him because it's worth the work and the art. So real quick, we're going to get back to this. Now we're going to get into size comparisons with a bunch of other lines so we can sit there and talk about stuff. Here he is next to a fellow rider from the same line, which is Gem level 0. So as you can see, actually, let me fix this. As you can see, they'll stand about the same height. Gem's hair is a little bit more out and up there, but it's nice. Next up, we're going to have him with a synthetic human. So as you can see, he stands a little smaller than synthetic human, but they're still in a nice range of each other, so that's really nice. Let's take you back for a second. Next up, compared to a Revoltech Spider-Gwen, I happen to have her out, so I feel like it's a good time to compare. I almost never compare Revoltechs anymore, so it's nice to have her out. Oop. Let's see if we can get it up. There we go. Also, we're going to compare it with a Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Let's fix these articulations on these guys so they look good when posing. Get these feet flat. So as you can see, most SHF stuff is pretty much smaller, but Revoltech is more in scale, depending on which character, because Gwen is a smaller character. If you do the male characters, they'll probably be bigger. Next up, a Figma Kit Bash. This is a match head on a Ghost in the Shell Makoto. Now, as you can see, she's pretty small as well. Compare it to a Mythic Legion figure that I have here. As you can see, size-wise, the SHF stuff is significantly smaller, but it is a scale I very much like, so I do appreciate it. All in all, I like the figure a lot. He's one of my favorite characters in the show. He was a great boss. I shouldn't say boss, but a great antagonist of the show. It was really dope. But the skirt does hinder it a lot. It takes away a lot from the figure. But man, oh man, did Harker Customs come through with the save and really made the figure back to being a figure that I absolutely love and adore. So, if you're going to get Chronos, I recommend you also get a custom cloth skirt. And if not, that's fine too. But I definitely would recommend it. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it informative. But most of all, I hope you do good, be good, drink your water, guys. Later.